Well, I'm joined now by Carsten Jung, Head of Macroeconomics at the Institute for Public Policy Research, also former Bank of England and IMF economist. Good to talk to you today. So lots of big announcements there, a lot about transport, a lot about infrastructure. What were the big headlines for you?
I think the big headlines for me is a glimpse into how this government is making policy. So, for example, on industrial strategy and infrastructure investment. On both those topics, really the big announcements are yet to come in spring, but we got an insight into how they approach things. So take this new Silicon Valley of Europe idea between Cambridge and Oxford. What they're doing here is basically tackling a problem from multiple ends. So not just saying, okay, I'm making one isolated investment and that's it. But basically they're saying in order to get growth up, you need to do planning reform. So new businesses can build, but you also need a transport connection so people can get there. You also need a housing investment so people can live there. And, previously in the UK, but also other governments in the G7 have a much more narrow focus on making policy. So I was really excited to see that this government is approaching the problem from all sides and pulling multiple levers at the same time, because then you get these sort of coordination benefits of all good things coming together, and you just get more bang for your buck. So I think that was a big one. But then also their approach to infrastructure investments, which is a real step up.
So you're in favour and appreciative of the approach in general, this joined-up approach, as you've called it. But what about how quickly this approach will actually make a difference? The main criticism appears to be that this is going to potentially do good things for the economy in 2030, but what do we do for the next 5 years?
That's a really good point, and I think we really need to distinguish between the types of investments and types of policies. So if you build an airport, for example, Heathrow, the assessments of the benefits, they basically look at a 60-year horizon. So it might be good for growth, but it's really over many decades that the growth pays off. But if you look at other things like electric vehicle charging infrastructure, that can have benefits much more quickly, because if you're saying we have this plan for EV charging, consumers know, right, there will be charging infrastructure, so I can buy a vehicle. Producers know, well, there's going to be more demand, so we're building more vehicles. So you might see effects on investment pretty much straight away. And we see that worked for the Biden administration, the past US administration that did a similar thing. And for every pound of money they put in there, they got, within the first 2 years of their green spending plans, they got 4 times the amount of private spending. So you can see private money being unlocked quite quickly, including just through the confidence that you're giving markets in terms of the direction of travel.
Was it bold enough, what she announced today, to make a real difference?
No, it wasn't bold enough, because this wasn't yet the big announcement of the year. Really, the big announcement of the year is going to be in the spending review and in the 10-year infrastructure strategy. And that's still all to come in spring. So I'm being a bit snarky here that we got a good insight in terms of what they're planning, but it's those big announcements where we'll actually learn where all the investments will go, which sectors will be the focus of industrial strategy. So investors need to wait a little bit more to see what's to come and what the specifics are. But we already know that the headline numbers on infrastructure investment are really high compared to what the previous government had planned. So I think there is a reason to hope that it will be bold enough. I think we at IPPR think they could still push it a bit more in terms of infrastructure investment. They could raise the overall envelope. But what we've heard today is definitely the right kind of things: green infrastructure, EV charging infrastructure, industries of the future, such as life sciences, that the UK is really strong at, transport infrastructure. So we got a little teaser today, And now it's really all eyes on the spending review that we'll get. The industrial strategy we get in spring, the spending review in June. So the work that's being done now by government, that will be very crucial.
And we shall wait and see what that spending review brings us. Very good to talk to you, Carsten Jung, Head of Macroeconomics at the IPPR. Thank you.